Live on stage, the sound
of Orlando.
So, is they ready?
Yes.
The sound
of Orlando. You know.
What is going on, party people? What is going on? Happy Friday to everyone out there, man. We're so honored to have you guys join us for a Friday night edition of the Sound of Orlando show. I am your boy, Rome. Before we get into tonight's guest, and it's going to be beautiful, I want to send another shout out to all my people who have been out there relentlessly supporting the show. Let me tell you something. I stand humble. I don't understand sometimes the energy or the impact that it's making in the city. As I go out and deliver personally to the people that are buying up these shirts, I'm telling people, thank you. I'm so honored that you're supporting, and they in return tell me how important the show is to them and for our city and what this represents. If you are buying shirts or considering to buy a shirt, this shirt is not for me to become rich off of it. This shirt is to document that this happened here, that there is no one that can say that we didn't try to put on for our city and let everybody know not only our city, our story, and our motherfucking sound. We have been steadfast on the idea of what this show and what access people's stories and voices are to our city and why those things are so important. You know, we are considered in a lot of ways an underdog. A lot of people come here, they get all our resources, and they take it to other cities and give them more shine. We are saying, no, this is not what's going down here. We expect more out of our city. Our city is talented. It is filled with people who got culture and are trying to do things different, and we need to support our people now more than ever. Our Black entertainers, our entertainers in general, need the support of the people. And if you're not hollering Orlando, if you're not hollering the Ozone, the ORL, if you're not hollering Orange County, then I don't know what to say to you, man. But I do know the people that are supporting are buying these shirts simply because this is our way of documenting the importance and the magnitude of this moment, this show, and our city. So kudos to you. Salute. We love y'all. This is the Sound of Orlando show, and I say welcome to all. Now, before we get into our next guest, I also want to sadly say we lost another soldier last night. I thought I was tripping when I looked at my phone, but I wasn't. We lost one of the most talented musicians, intellectuals, and just dope hip-hop artists to ever grace the stage, ever grace the mic, and make a record, and that is Shock G. It is sad that we're losing our people in such a quick succession. It sucks. We know he's in a better place. We just lost DMX, and now Shock G within a week. And I know he's in a better place. May you rest in beats. May you rest in eternal hip hop. May you rest and give God all the entertainment that you gave us for all the years you were alive. Man, salute Shock G of Digital Underground. We're going to miss you. Now, once again, this is the Sound of Orlando show. We discuss our culture, this thing of ours called hip hop. And how can I even discuss our origins and this thing of ours called hip hop without discussing my next guest? One of the most prolific rhymers to ever grace the mic. He has made hits simply by writing. One of the biggest hits that was ever written by this man is Rapper's Delight. Okay? We have so many legends that need flowers right this minute. This man is no different. Representing Cold Crush Brothers, the legendary Cold Crush Brothers. Wild Style, you name it. This man on rock so many stages, prolific rhymer, DJ, you name it. The list goes on. He is one of our founding members of hip hop music and hip hop culture. I'm so honored to have him on tonight. Give it up for my brother from another mother, the legendary, the one and only, not to be duplicated, not to be compared. There's only one of this person, and that is my brother, Grandmaster Kaz. Let's go.
What an intro.
Bro, I got to give flowers now, man. This is what we doing. This is what we doing.
Appreciate
man,
it.
Welcome to the show, my brother. Such an honor to have a discussion with you about all things hip hop.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Now, for those, and I can only count maybe the young, but for those that may not know your significance, who you are, can you please describe who you are?
We don't have enough time.
Right. Give them an idea where you come from, how you got into how you started to create this thing of ours that we all enjoy today.
Basically, I grew up down Bronx during the 60s and early 70s when the city was bankrupt and there wasn't a lot of funds. I mean, we lived in the poorest part of the Bronx, but we made it do what it do. And everything that we didn't have, we created. So since we didn't have any music programs or after school programs, and we created things to do with music and after school. The only instrument we had access to was a turntable. So we took that turntable and we made it an instrument. Basically, I come from that era when we was just looking for something for self-expression. And that's what basically hip hop is. It's like different modes of self-expression for our generation. You know what I mean? So I got
And what part of the Bronx? Give people some more context. What part of the Bronx?
Well, I'm when they say hip hop and they say the Bronx, they usually say South Bronx, because the South Bronx is the most devastated part of the Bronx. But I grew up on the west side of the Bronx, a block away from 1520 Sedgwick Avenue, which is the building that DJ Kool Herc, who's recognized as the father of hip hop, that's the building he lived in, and that's where that legendary party was given back in August 11, 1973. Okay, so that's the west side of the Bronx. So I lived the next block up from Kool Herc. So in 73, I was 13. Of course, I wasn't going to parties or nothing like that. But the energy from the party and the parties that started from that party, you know what I mean, just captured everybody, got swept up. And the older kids was at the party. They come back to the block talking about it. You'd be like, who's that? Who's this? Who's this? When you got old enough to go out, boom, you saw it for yourself. And it was like, oh my God, this is what's up. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to be.
Wow. Shout out to, like you said, Sedgwick Ave and what that meant for all of us. And it's amazing when we talk about it, because I mean that there should be an amusement park because Disney made up a whole theme of things that weren't even real. That seems more fantasy when you think about one party set off a chain of events that changed the entire world. And
well, if that was actually the case, then that it would be, we could build up something off of that, but it's never that simple, especially with hip hop. I say all the time, hip hop didn't invent anything. Hip hop reinvented everything. So we didn't invent the wheel. We reinvented the wheel. You know what I mean? The wheel was there already. People DJ'd already. People danced already. People gave block parties already. People, people spoken word has been going back, to the beginning of time. So none of these elements of hip hop are new. But for our generation, when none of these things were available, we found a way to revive them and to give them new life. We don't just play records, we play with records. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We don't talk on the mic, we rhyme on the mic. You know what I mean? We rap, we create stories and things like that. As far as dancing, we don't just dance, we break dance. We created new dances from old dances and different dances and put them together and created a whole new art form that's now getting ready to be featured in the next Olympics. Okay.
Talk about that, man.
So
and
graffiti being the fourth element of hip hop is the element that was adopted by the hip hop culture because so many graffiti enthusiasts, was from our generation. And they did multiple things in hip hop. Graffiti artists and break dancers too. A lot of graffiti artists and DJs. Some graffiti, like my man K Slade, DJ K Slade. Drama Kick is a legendary graffiti artist. Dez, you know what I mean? He was featured in the movie Style Wars. So a lot of us share different disciplines. You know what I mean? We mastered one, but we messed with a few of them. So the culture of hip hop is all of those things together, man, and it's inclusive.
So, speaking of mastering arts, talk about when you knew you could rhyme. Talk about that moment when it hit you and you said, "Okay, ain't nobody fucking with me." Talk about that moment.
I knew I could rhyme before I could rhyme. I knew I could rhyme from
talk your shit, cuz.
I was rhyming from grade school. I was writing poems and poetry and stuff like that. So, you know what I mean? I got high marks in school and all of the, English and comprehension and literature and vocabulary, spelling, all that was my top. So all of those things, all those tools, was like, writing rhymes is nothing. I do that in my sleep. You know what I mean? And I a lot of it has to do with my upbringing, what I already had in me, what I already talented with. I look back for that. I reach back for that. My pen game is sick. You know what I mean? I got a book deal because my penmanship. You know what I mean? And people like, woo, you write crazy. Your penmanship is great. Because I went to Catholic school, man. I was writing in script when I was in second grade. You know what I mean? That's to graffiti. You got a pen game, that means you can write, you can make letters. You know what I mean? Boom. That translates to hip hop. You know what I mean? When I was young, I was in talent shows. When they used to give block parties in the streets, my parents and my aunts used to take me to the block party. They had a big circle and it would put all the kids in the middle of the circle and dance and we'd all be in there doing the James Brown or the Michael Jackson and everybody move and let me dance. I used to kill it every time. That eventually led to breakdancing. You understand what I'm saying?
Wow.
Right out of school led to MCing. You know what I mean? My love for music and hearing music in my house all the time, being able to sing songs in their entirety. Like I know songs from when I was a kid. I know the lyrics from top to bottom, back and forth. There's not a song you can play that I don't know. That eventually helped me become a DJ. You know
and
so all these
crazy DJ, mind you, like you got your skill sets are like of mastery, which mastery to me is rooted in love. If you love something,
no doubt,
you tend to master it differently than somebody teaching you something. There's just, like you said, you're reaching inside you for what's already there.
Exactly.
And you love yourself enough to reach inside yourself.
Exactly.
We're, requiring that kind of mastery, normally comes with a big personality. Were you that guy on the block in the hood that just stood out from everyone, knew what you wanted to do, you had your vision, you knew where you wanted to go, you knew how you wanted to do it? Or were you one of those masters that were very quiet inside yourself until it was time to show?
A little bit of both. You know what I mean? Because coming up, I before hip hop, I was into basketball. I played basketball, and I did, you know, the thing that I was good at. But I always wanted to be famous, though. I always wanted to be famous. I didn't know how, or I didn't know what road would take me there. But before I thought about being rich, I thought about being famous. And so,
Right.
you know, basketball was like my main thing until hip hop came along. Then when the music started, basketball became secondary to that. You know, it was still my love and passion, but you know, this was my new thing. This was something that I could, you know, control, manipulate. It was new. Like everybody didn't play basketball. Yeah, I mean, everybody could play basketball, but not everybody could do this. Everybody wasn't doing that. You know what I mean? This was something I could call my own almost. So I gravitated toward the music, you know what I mean, back then. When I knew I was good at it, I mean, I'm still trying to be good at it. You know what I mean?
It's like golf sometimes, right? Like it don't matter how dope you can be at golf.
Trying to be better, you know what I mean?
Right.
You're still trying to be better, and for hip hop, it's a culture, and I live the culture. You know what I mean? I don't jump in and out of it. You know what I mean? I don't work at it and then leave and go do something else. I live this shit, man.
Right.
On every element, day to day, everything I do is related to hip hop in one way or another.
Charlie said, shout out to Charlie Chase. Charlie told me he was like, he couldn't wait to snag you and get you into what would be the Cold Crush Brothers. He said he was like an evil genius, just waiting for the right moment and how he could get you in. What was your? I know you have to remember that. What was it like being courted by Charlie Chase, who at the time was considered up there with Grandmaster Flash and his ability to be able to cut, scratch, and do all those things that Charlie did?
Well, Charlie was like the Eminem of hip hop.
Yo, shout out to Charlie. Shout out to Charlie Chase.
Puerto Rican playing hip hop music, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And doing it well.
Yes.
That's how me and Charlie met. Charlie was down with a group called Tom and Jerry. And if you was in the Bronx back in those days, every other neighborhood you walked to that you heard music, there was a block party somewhere.
Right.
And so as we would be walking in the summertime, going from block party to block party, we'd pass by some music. We'll stop, see who it is. Sometimes it's some little toy DJ or whatever on the block. We'll look and then keep it moving. And then I wandered across Tom and Jerry, and I stopped one day and watched them. And then, you know, they was playing disco and salsa. And then Charlie got on. And Charlie got on and started playing breakbeats. And started cutting up records. And I was like, you know, because the first Puerto Rican DJ in hip hop was down with me, Disco Wiz.
Shout out to Disco Wiz.
Disco Wiz. And Disco Wiz got locked up, you know what I mean? I went through a few different crews, you know, from there. But Charlie, once I saw him like doing his thing, I was like, yo, that's nice. That's like my man Wiz. So I would get on the mic when he was rocking. So anytime I would come across one of his jams or something, I'd get on the mic with him, whatever. That's how we got cool. Now, when Tony Tone left the Brothers Disco, which is Breakout and Baron and the Funky Four, and started his own crew, the Cold Crush Brothers, he got Chase. He seen Chase and was like, yo, Puerto Rican DJ playing break beats, I could make a whole crew around him. So, boom, that's how the Cold Crush started. Long story short, how I got down was Charlie had one MC, Easy AD, and he was trying to audition another MC. So he asked me to come through. He was like, yo, Cass, come through. I want you to check out this guy. You know,
that's exactly what he said.
Yeah,
he said to the team.
Which one of them is dope or not?
Right.
I'm like, all right, you know what I'm saying? So I go through and I see two guys. It's this kid, Dynamite T, and it's KG, Almighty KG. He was KG back then. And both of them did their thing. And I was like, yo, the dude KG, he got the voice and he got some potential. Like, you know, if you're going to take one, take him. So KG got down. So now they got two MCs, AD and KG. Now Charlie's like, yo, I want you to get down with me. I was like, yo, Charlie, I told you right now, like I'm still doing Casanova Fly parties. I'm still doing Notorious 2 parties with JDL. You know what I mean? And I'm doing Grandmaster Kaz parties by myself. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of all over. And Africa Islam want me to rock with him with the Funk Machine. So I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. Chase was like, yo, come on, man, this and that. I got the sound system. I got everything. We got this and that. Whoop, whoop. You won't have to worry about equipment no more. When he said that shit, I was like, oh, shit. I don't have to bring a set out no more. I could just... I said, all right. I said, if you put JDL down, I'll get down. And he was like, nah. He was like, nah.
To a T. That's exactly how he explained it. And he was like this. He was like this.
The story ain't gonna change, yo. He said, he said, I don't want him. That dude is wow. He's a dust head. I can't try. I don't know what's up. I said, well, if he ain't down, I ain't down.
Right. But that's amazing because that tells you the love not only for the art, but the love for our people. Like he cared that much. He needed you, and he didn't stop until he had you with what they were trying to do. And did you guys realize the impact Cold Crush would have on the city and the world?
I knew what I could do. My job when I got down with them is to make our group a competitive group. With the Furious Five, with the Fantastic, and with all the groups that were established, my job was to get down with the Cold Crush and make the Cold Crush dope. And
so you were kind of like, the Phil Jackson in the group. This is what you needed. We're gonna work this triangle.
The Michael Jackson, the Bo Jackson.
Talk your shit. Talk your shit.
I was all that.
Yes,
I was all that.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Obviously the tape circulated all over the area initially, then all over the city, and then all over the world. Like, I know even down here, we had our hands on a Cold Crush performance. Like that's amazing during a time in which there's no computers, no YouTube. You know, like, you know, we had cassette tapes floating all over the world.
Let me tell you something. One of the first ways that hip hop got promoted and marketed was through those cassette tapes. I mean, I used to record everything with one of them old style, you know, big, you know, cassette recorders. And I used to record me just practicing at home and make people tapes. Those were like the first mixtapes. But you would sit in my house and watch me make it for you. I ask you what your girl name is, what school you go to, what this and this and that, and then I just shout you out throughout the tape. Boom, $20. That's your tape, your own personal tape.
Damn.
That was the first mixtapes, okay? And then when I started recording the parties, I just started making copies, you know what I mean, and selling tapes. Once I got down with the Cold Crush, there was a guy named Tape Master who used to record all the Cold Crush parties. So when I got down, there was already somebody recording it. Even though I still recorded mine, Tape Master was recording all of our parties. So all those tapes that you hear of the Cold Crush, once after I got down and after we was like after 81, that all those were from Tape Master. Pretty much.
Shout out to Tape Master.
And Tape Master.
Shout out to Doo-Wop, because he told me he used to be one of the first dudes on the block to get them damn tapes. And it was like he was the man in that town you know, with those tapes, man, because nobody could get them sometimes. Like it was just like
Doo-wop,
it would go quick.
my man Doo-wop, that's my man. All right.
Yeah, shout out to my man Mr. Schick on the check-in from Mean Machine.
Mr.
Mean Machine on the check-in, man.
Wow.
Yes.
Salute.
And bringing him up is a good segue to say there was a time in which hip hop was saying, "Nah, man, fuck doing a record." Talk about the changing of the mindset that led you to say, "Okay, we cool with making the records," and then talk about what Sugar Hill Records meant for you guys. And I know you told the story a million times, but just if you could condense it a little bit, just talk about, you know, the idea what Big Bank Hank unknowingly, and I know it had to have been unconsciously, did for what rap would eventually enjoy, which is having their records distributed all over the world. Talk about the beginnings of that.
Well, I mean, first of all, but in 1979, between 73, I'll say 74, 75, and 79, no, there were no records. There was just hip hop in the streets. They grow, different crews were being formed. DJs were at the forefront of hip hop. They were the name, they were the notoriety. And then the MCs became a presence because they became the front man. They stood in front of the DJ. And even though they talked about the DJ most of the night, they were the object of people's, you know what I mean, what people see first. So the MC became the front man of hip hop. In 79, once King Tim III came out, and then the other record, the Jocko record came out, these were attempts at making a rap song, but just making them with disco voices. That's what was happening. And then when rappers...
And shout out to Curtis Blow, because Curtis Blow doesn't get enough credit really for being one of the first artists to be rapping on a record and it going pretty... He was with a major at the time.
Well, yeah. Curtis got signed to a major. His first record, Christmas Rapping, was on Mercury. You know, he went overseas to record, and you know, Curtis is a whole nother story, almost. But the people that weren't recorded back in 79, us being one of them. For us, let me just shorten this. For us, we didn't want to make a record because there was a mad rush after Rapper's Delight came out, and Rapper's Delight, you know, was the first rap hit, and then everybody and their grandmother had felt like they had to make a record. So all these independent labels started popping up, opening up just for rap music, because no other major besides Curtis's label would mess with hip hop at all. Curtis was the only artist signed to a major label. All these groups that came out and everybody from Sugar Hill to the Furious Five were on independent labels. Okay, so by the time we got our feet wet and we established a presence in hip hop without a record. Right. Without a record. We was the hottest group in New York. Once after the battle with the Fantastic Five, which was in July 81, the Fantastic Five won the battle, but we won the war. Okay, because after that battle, there was no more Fantastic Five after that. It was
No. Stop right there.
Yo, that's fact.
There's some kids that just got off the bus and they're a little scared. Could you explain that one more time for the people then? One more time.
What you mean?
What you just said.
I'm saying in 81, there was a battle between us and the Fantastic Five. The Fantastic Five won the battle that night, but we won the war. Okay, after that battle, there was no more talk of the Fantastic Five. It was all about the Cold Crush Brothers, all right, for the next 2 to 3 years. Okay, so we felt no need to run and make a record. Right. If we went to Enjoy, guess what? The Furious Five was on Enjoy. The Fearless Four was on Enjoy. The Treacherous Three was on Enjoy. The Disco Four was on Enjoy. This one, that. So if we go and then we're gonna be behind all these acts, all these labels, and we the hottest niggas out. So that was That was our thing. Yo, we could just run the street. We don't have to rush to make a record. We getting booked. New Edition was opening up for us.
Man, talk your
When
shit.
they started, you know what I mean? Run
Yes.
DMC was opening up for us. You know what I mean?
Talk your shit. Let
When they
these people
started.
know.
So by the time we did make a record, it was like, okay, if you want to keep getting booked on to the next level, you know what I mean? If you want to travel, you got to have a record. You got to make a record. You know what I mean? So we got into a couple of bullshit deals, you know what I mean? Because thinking back, we should have jumped on one of the Enjoy labels or something like that, you know what I mean? At least we would have had a musical foundation underneath our music. You know, they had a band at Enjoy that every record that came out of Enjoy was pumping. You know what I mean? One of them was dope. Fearless 4 records was dope. The Treacherous 3's records was dope. The Disco 4 records was dope. All of their records sound better than any record we ever made because we never was on the right label. You know what I mean?
Wow. Because when you hear these stories, like you're describing, shout out to Peso from the Fearless 4. Like when you hear these stories, you feel like, okay, there was those comparisons. Sugar Hill had their own band.
Yep.
And Enjoy had their own band.
Any record they wanted to, they could, you know what I mean? The same with Pumpkin. Pumpkin, may he rest in peace, was the Pumpkin and the All-Stars was the band at Enjoy Records. And they made some of the dopest music in the beginning of hip-hop ever. You know what I mean? Looking back, at the end of the day, we should have got down with something. You know, we would have shined. You know, I don't care how many groups was on that label. We would have shined. We would have got our shine on. And we would have been on an even, you know, keel as far as, okay, we got the same production. We got the same studio we working out of. We got the same promotion, the same label. Okay? So if we all working off the same thing, then it's up to whoever's the best to rise above that. And we definitely would have rose. So looking back, we should have got down with Enjoy.
So you're with Sugar Hill Records. And
that was never an option. That was never an option. The thing with Hank, prior to me getting down with the Cold Crush, I was on my last crew, which was the Force 5. Right? Force 5. And I was trying to salvage that group kind of thing that so Hank, when Hank got down with us, Hank was a doorman at a hip hop club, and Hank got his parents to invest some money into getting us a bigger sound system. You know what I mean? So we could be competitive. This is no records. Wasn't no records yet. We still doing battles and stuff. So in order to pay back the loan, that's how he got the job in New Jersey at the pizza shop, taking a boombox to work back and forth with him with my tapes in them and not Cold Crush yet, because I wasn't down with Cold Crush, but he would take our practice tapes to work with him. So working at the pizza shop, he back there making pizzas, you know, he rhyming along with the tapes. You know, people in Jersey don't know nothing about hip hop. They like, wow, that guy's amazing. He must be a rapper. That's how Sylvia and them got wind of him. They said, yo, there's some guy in New Jersey in the pizza shop who can rap. And so when they was looking for rappers, they went to the pizza shop. And instead of him telling them, I don't rap, I manage Casanova Fly, he just told them my rhymes. He just said my rhymes to them. They was like, yo, that shit is dope. You down? And he got down with the Sugar Hill.
You know, and that story, as fucked up as it is, it's fucked as that would be fucked up in any era. You know, but as fucked up as it was
in any era, right?
In any era, that's fucked up. Like there's no revisionist history in that. That's fucked up. Where's that guy live? Let's go get him. You know, but he didn't know. He didn't even know, like, how brilliant that was, because it gave and you. I know it took time for you to do it. I know you had to get to a space in your life where it wasn't as fucked up as it was. Yeah. And just like the idea that he took something you didn't even put out And you're all over it. Because when we hear you, we hear that. And then blasted you, literally, blasted you all over the world and opened up the door for every label to either be built or to convert to what that sound was. And I have to believe in my heart of hearts, he didn't have no fucking idea what he was doing. He thought it was about him, and it was actually bigger than him.
I don't think he had any idea. I don't think he knew what he was doing
for him,
himself. You know what I mean? And the way he went about it, I mean, it was fucked up to this day. It's fucked, like you said. That'll always be fucked up.
It's fucked up.
But inadvertently,
God used him.
Without me realizing, you know what I mean? Had he not done that, I don't know how it would have went. There's no guarantee that he would have brought me to Sugar Hill Records and then I would have took his place. Like, if she would have liked everything he said, he would have said, yo, that's not me. I manage this guy named Casanova Fly. All right? Then you would think, okay, she would say, all right, well, bring him to me or something like that. And him being my manager, he was like, yo, this lady, this and that. Well, what? We do Jersey. You know what I mean? But he wasn't no real manager. He just got down with us, you know, to help out. He was like a cool dude. Right. A management mind would have said, yeah, I have an artist. I don't rap, but I have an artist. You know what I mean? And if he would have did that, he could have still been my manager to this day. And we would have been rocking. And the Sugar Hill Gang would have been off the chain.
Right. You know, and it's funny
how happens for a reason. Everything
it's funny but it's funny how art imitates life sometimes, because when you're talking about these things, it reminds me, had the roles been reversed in the Puff Biggie relationship, and if Puff would have heard Big do some rhymes and then he winds up doing one of Big's rhymes, which he eventually did, but he did it that way, would that relationship be what it is today? You know, or would we regard what they did as what they did? And once again, this shows you the power of God body, our universe, what we do as a people. We take things from nothing, and sometimes we don't even know the gravity of what we do. You know, we're still talking about the pyramids. Them shits was done 10,000 years ago, damn near. You know, like we're still talking about our greatness. And he did something, like you said, the hindsight looking back at it, obviously it was for his fucking shine. But what he didn't know is that not only would it propel you, because everybody has to go find the root. Like, you could do one rap and that'd be fine, but you ain't gonna be able to be Grandmaster Caz. That's not gonna happen. So they had to find the root.
But see, the thing is, you don't have to beat Grandmaster Caz, and he proved that. You don't have to beat Grandmaster Caz. Steal his shit and go somewhere else, and you're gonna win. And a lot of people are the one that way. You know what I mean? And it ain't just Grandmaster Caz.
No, it isn't. It isn't.
A lot of people taking other people's shit and ran with it. You know what I mean? Like it's all right. A lot of people are successful from early hip hop to the day and never wrote a thing. Never wrote a rap in their fucking life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
it doesn't stop them from being successful.
We talked about this before we came on tonight, which is the idea of looking at what's fucked up. And that's easy because it's everywhere, or at least it seems like that. The enemy always makes it seem like he's everywhere and he outnumbers you. But the truth is that anyone that loves something wants to know their family lineage, right? Like, if you love your family, you want to know who your father was. You want to know who your uncle was. You're not gonna hold a grudge for the rest of your life. You wanna dig deep into your roots. And so I have to believe that anyone that would have known that you wrote that rhyme for him wouldn't be looking for his lineage at all. Actually, it would backfire on him at some point, like it does now, where everything is big on who's ghostwriting for you. Like
Yeah.
we celebrate our artists that write.
Yeah, we do now. Once it becomes apparent that they're not writing, you know what I mean. But then there's another paradigm as far as the music industry is concerned that has nothing to do with whether you write or not.
Right.
Okay, it's not a standard in the music industry. It's a standard culturally. You know what I mean, like biting somebody rhyme is a crime in hip hop. Saying somebody else's stuff in the
why is that? And I'm asking a dumb question, not because I don't know, but why is biting the worst thing you could possibly do? Just explain it for the youngins.
Because you're copying from someone else. You're taking someone else's talent and you're trying to treat it like it's yours. You're projecting it like it's yours. I mean, they say flattery is the best. I mean, that's I forgot the way they say the saying.
Flattery is basically a compliment. It's complimentary to you.
Say when you steal something from like that's the biggest form of flattery. You know what I mean?
Flattery, right.
But no, it's not.
But that's revisionist history, because the idea of celebrating who you are is to be revered. And we're alluding to a bigger thing, bro. And I know we could talk about that too, because originality requires courage.
True. Well, originality requires some kind of originality as well. You know what I mean?
Well, originality requires courage. Most people know that they are unique. The problem is that they don't know that it's okay to be unique. And that's our biggest hurdle in life, right? The moment in which you find that it's okay to live within your own skin. That's when it becomes okay to be you. But the world, in its various amount of ways, tends to beat that the hell out of you, right? Like for a lot of people, you said this nigga was working at a damn pizza shop, right? Like for him, he was living a regular life. You sounded like Superman to him.
Yeah.
He wanted to be Superman. No pun intended to the rhyme, but he wanted to be Superman.
I feel you. And there is a level of, I mean, there's an intense thing about fame, what fame and notoriety will do to a person. And sometimes you want it, but you don't know what to do. You don't know how to handle it, when you get it. Some people weren't meant to be famous.
No. Some
people
fame is
from
poison.
Yeah.
And depending on who is acquiring the fame can kill you. And fame can actually be the conduit to build other great things. But it all depends on the body chemistry, the mental chemistry of whoever's obtaining that poison, because not everybody's meant to be bitten by a snake. Fame is like a snake biting you. Some may give them superpower strength, like, being able, like for you guys, fame elevated you guys to this fucking level in which, to this day, I hear Funkmaster Flex yelling, "Man, when I had that cold crust tape, I knew all the routines." And like there's people out there who revere your fame in a beautiful and positive way. While there's others, and I'll use Jordan as a reference, Jordan shut down many careers simply because he was Jordan. No, Ewing would have been probably a 2 or at least 3-time champ had Jordan not been playing. And some people just have to deal with that and be okay with that. Ewing is one of those stewards. He never appeared to me to feel like he hated Jordan as a person. He respected his talent, but the hurt is no different, right? Like you still feel some kind of way about not being that person. And Big Bag Hank represents those kind of people in which that was his only moment. As a manager, he probably would have been a nobody. Shout out to that new movie by RZA, Nobody, and he heard your shit, and that made him a somebody. you were never a nobody. That was never even an option for your life.
No doubt. Facts. I mean,
that was never even a fucking moment in your life.
As far as hip hop is concerned, you know what I mean? I've always been a somebody. You know what I mean?
Right.
Hip hop is another life besides added on to the life that I was already living. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's another life. It's another energy. It's another, you know, there's more to it. It's like you asked me earlier, when did I know, you know what I mean? I don't know exactly the way you worded the question.
No. I'll repeat it. When did you know that what you did was the shit? Like you knew, like this is going to change some fucking lives. And let me extend that real quick. Shout out to Dave Chappelle, because in one of his comedy routines, Killing Me Softly, he said, "You know how famous you gotta be for Monica Lewinsky to suck Bill Clinton's dick and she becomes famous off that. Off that. Like, literally, that's what, you know, pause, he did. He was able to just recite one of your rhymes and become famous. And so I don't think he was smart enough to know that. Or three of them, right? I don't think he was smart enough to realize the gravity of that. But if you look at that for just what that is, without opinion, without feeling some kind of way about that, that's how fucking powerful you were. That's how powerful you are. That someone could just do what you do, a rendition of what you do, and they could go global. That represents the power that is you. Facts. As an MC, as a person, as a purpose, that the gift wasn't just meant for you to hold for you. You had to give it away, and God has a crazy sense of humor. The universe has a crazy sense of humor. We all need the sun, don't we? We all need each other to live, don't we? And I just think, you know, I would have felt some kind of way about it too, bro. And it would have took me probably a while to get over that.
I mean, just to end it up, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm glad, you know, at the end of the day, I'm glad that my voice, my words,
your words
of music history. My words were some of the first words that the world heard as far as hip hop is concerned. You know what I mean? Had he not done that, that might not be the case. You know what I mean? So like it's a double-edged sword, and at the end of the day, I try to always see the best out of something, and that's why a long time ago I let that shit go as far as being mad at him and wanting to do and this and that. Because if you're not gonna do nothing about them, don't do nothing. For fuck being mad, talking shit in interviews and all that other shit, if you ain't gonna do nothing about it, you know what I mean?
Man, you represent power. You fathered so many MCs. The list goes on. If you literally stood outside, there should be fucking lines going down the Lower East Side, or at least fucking Staten Island. One of the two. The people that should be thanking you for you doing what you did, because you fathered, legitimately or illegitimately, so many people in which they literally have to thank you for their entire career. Because you opened the doors to, like we were talking about earlier with records, where records weren't considered, you know, like you guys were dope. Like you weren't party dope. You weren't fucking like novelty dope. You guys were dope. At that moment, you guys were like the Wu-Tang of the world. Like the respect that people had for you is the kind of respect that we have for like a Wu-Tang, or, you know, or Royce the 5'9" and King Crooked and that clique and the people that we respect today as being lyricists as a group. You guys had it all down, and everyone was like playing second base and third base to you guys. and you knew it.
I mean, yeah, but we weren't always on top. We had our run. You know, we put in the work. I knew what we was up against, and I just did what I could do to take the best out of all of us and make us come together and sound like one. You know what I mean? And I followed in the pattern of the groups like Furious Five. You know what I mean? And the Funky Four and just decided to go beyond that. You know what I mean? It's like I want to do what they do better. You know what I mean? I want to do what they do with something that they not doing. You know what I mean? I want to.
Man, that wild style, dog, to this day gives me chills. That freestyle and that wild style, that basketball court. I mean, that shit.
That was cool.
If you don't know what hip hop is, man, take a look. Go Netflix that. Go YouTube that. Go find it, download it, whatever you need to do to obtain that. If you don't know what hip hop is, look at the Cold Crush and the famous freestyle where it's just 2 records and a routine in which to this day I don't see too many fucking with that at all. You guys embody like the soul of R&B and the delivery of like, you know, like we were talking about, like what MCing is about. You guys control that party. They were the B-roll was looking at the crowd, and the crowd was just smoking and just into it. Like, I mean, that was our first, you know, visible Woodstock, if you will, of what greatness was supposed to be. And you guys were able to tell me what that was like.
I mean, Wild Style was dope. Wild Style was kind of like a stamp of approval that we was moving in the right direction. You know what I mean? When outsiders come into the culture and say, yo, that shit, what's that y'all doing? That shit is dope, man. You need to document that. We need to, you know what I mean? It was like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Because other people looking at, our own people looking at us like we were stupid. Fuck is you doing spinning around on the floor, messing up your clothes? You know what I mean? Our parents, family members, yo, fuck is y'all doing with that corny shit, yo? That old hibbity-hobbity shit, y'all ain't gonna get nowhere doing that shit. That's what we heard.
Well, you know, the irony of it all.
We didn't hear the encouragement like, yo, go ahead, you can make it, you know what I mean? None of that shit, man. Like, yo, you better get a fucking job, man. Knock that bullshit off.
Yo, and the irony of it is that I hear that same shit right now with the kids. What we're doing right now. It was crazy because I thought hip hop for a long time was the ability to die cool. Like hip hop was so like I just envisioned me dying in a fucking Puma sweatsuit and with some Pumas on, and you know, like it just made you feel like now that I got this, I'm good till I'm out of here. But I noticed a lot of the legends sound bitter towards the youth. What say you about that?
I agree. And to some of it, I say, yeah, because, because they feel they don't get the respect due. You know what I mean? It's not like people got to come and, suck our nuts and no shit like that. But if you get money from this thing, you know what I mean, or you claim to be this, then certain people are responsible for this being here for you. And at least you can pay some kind of, homage. I'm saying you ain't got to cash out nobody. You know what I mean? But just recognize. So a lot of cats take that a little, more to heart than others. You know what I mean? I'm doing me regardless. I don't give a fuck if you checking for me or not. You know what I mean? I'm going to do me regardless. I'm not mad at you. I'm not fucking with you, but I'm not mad at you. You know what I'm saying?
Do you feel like we have a responsibility as the elders, as the OGs, and what we've done to just at least be like you were talking about the lack of what we had, not having that encouragement, not feel because I remember as a kid, anytime I played my hip hop music, my noise, I was like, yo, my mom was like, turn that jungle music off. And I would be like, I love it even more just because you said that. like, do we have a responsibility to connect with our youth a little bit better than what we're doing?
I think with generations due to the crack epidemic, and because lessons are handed down from generation to generation.
Right.
Okay. And once there's a break in that generation, there's a break in that chain, then you lose a generation. You lose those lessons, and those lessons become, they're not as close to you when they skip a generation. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if your mother didn't tell you something, or your father didn't tell you something, you know what I mean? Don't expect like the next generation to take, because they don't know neither. You know what I mean? There's lessons missing in our generation. So for us, my generation, to reach all the way down to this generation and try to tell them something, that's going to be hard to do. You understand what I'm saying? What we do is we pass our shit down to the next generation. Then the next generation pass their shit to the next generation. And then it's the next. So it's the generation before this one that's supposed to be talking to this one right here.
Right.
It's the generation that brought this generation here that's supposed to be talking to them. That's supposed to be straightening them. That's supposed to be showing, because they're not looking for their grandparents for answers. They don't look at their great-grandfather and be looking at what he did and live their life by that. They live by today, what the fuck they see today and what they respect today.
And speaking of that, we've lost a lot of good soldiers within the first 3 to 4 months of this year. Tell me how you're feeling about that as a human being and as a fellow creative and owner of these things of ours. How do you feel about it?
All right, we're going to end on this one because this is a sad one. Plus, I got to bounce. But anyway, I'm heartbroken, just like the rest of the world and the rest of the hip hop, especially the hip hop community. These are people that I've seen grow. I've been a part of hip hop, since its inception. And everything and everybody who's come along since then, I know them. I have a connection with them on the sense that we are brothers and sisters in hip hop. I have a connection with a lot of them personally that I know. And then I got another connection with them that have paid homage to me or have said, yo, you the reason why I do this, or, you the, and for me to be here at 61 years old and see every last one of them gone and all of them younger than me is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to me. Okay. From Jam Master Jay on up, man.
Yeah.
I've seen them all go.
Yeah. Man, I appreciate your time.
And some, with health issues. But as an older person, as an OG, you know what I mean? Like, I'm in my 60s now, and I try to tell other people, that's going to happen, man. That's going to happen. The longer you stay around, the more you're going to see other people leave, until it's your turn. You know what I mean? So rest in peace to all our brothers. Shock G, most recently, DMX, my man Black Rob. We just lost Fred the Godson. Nipsey. I mean, I could go on, for hours. And this is crazy. So the thing
this is crazy.
I've seen them all come, and I've seen them all go.
I want to ask you one last question, and I know you got to go, but this is important for the infrastructure moving forward in our community. Do you feel we need some sort of hip hop union or Black entertainment union kin to what the Actors Guild or what they do in Vegas, where the hospitality industry has a union? And if you feel like we need that, what do you feel we can do to start bringing this thing to its inception and get this thing going? Because we all would benefit from this.
I think a union is something that should have been done a long time ago. I was trying to start a union right now. there's been a few efforts going on. I know my girl, my sister Janaea Baker has a hip hop union, and she's campaigning for that up and try to recruit people. The idea of a union is excellent. We all do because hip hop doesn't have it. Hip hop has no ownership. Hip hop has no laws. It has no chairman of the board. It has none of that. Like anybody could come and do anything they want with hip hop. And that's the problem. That's the problem. So if hip hop had been unionized, had it been trademark, copyrighted, had there been like a board, you know what I mean, that you got to answer to when you want to deal with hip hop, I think that would have solved a lot of the problems that we have today. That where a union is more necessary now than ever. The way we get fucked over in the music business hasn't changed. All right, new snakes keep coming and doing the same thing. Instead of passing lessons on down to us how not to get fucked in the business, they become part of the business and do the same thing to us that people have been fucking us over, for the longest. So until we get some kind of governing board over this, and I don't think it's a black entertainment thing. I think we need one specifically for hip hop and hip hop music.
Man, the brother came in, the brother said what he said, and the brother will leave with as many flowers as he's deservedly fitting to get and to receive. Man, thank you, my brother, for joining us tonight. I love your take. I love that you talked to our city in a real way and just talked about this story of ours. And you're always welcome on the show. If you got anything going on right now, please tell the people them where they can find it and how they can get at you. Yep.
So I got major creative behind that. So I have a couple of clothing lines out. One is called Kaz Tees. I do tees and the hats. This is me in Bronx. I got GMC hats. Everything is GMCE dot veryimpressive.com.
Please make sure you go.
That's the Kaz book, Kaz Brown. Go to our website, www.hiphopinvr.com. Sign my email list. We got a lot of activities going on in virtual reality. I'm doing a joint right now with 50 old school MCs. Okay, I got 46 recorded already. So I'm going to shoot a video for that. And around the summer, I'll be dropping that. Me, Grandmaster Melly Mel, and Kool Mo D are working on a Three Kings album as well.
Dope. So
that's about to get underway as well. I joined the Rock the Bells family, with LL. So you can look for a show coming from there soon. So I'm beating it up, man. I'm beating it up. I'm keeping the damn thing moving. We adopted a school in the Bronx, CS55. Salute to the kids at CS55. They painted a mural of me in the school on the second floor, and we're building a recording studio in that school for the kids. So shout out to Windows of Hip Hop, Principal Torres, and my partner Grandmaster Melly Mel.
Man, but I mean, what more can you say? You've been dropping bombs and jewels all night. We love you. Thank you for all of what you've done. We're not here without you. I can't tell my story without telling yours, and I believe that's dope. Regardless to where we all come from, we all family, and man, I'm just honored to have you on tonight, man. I appreciate you, family.
I appreciate you, bro. Holla.
Give it up for the legendary, the one and only Grandmaster Kaz. Man, This is awesome. This is awesome when you can talk to your people and not give a damn about what is going on in the world. You just talk to your people. Shout out to everybody that tuned in tonight. It was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing tonight. We talked. Shout out to my man, the legendary Jesse Jazz, a sponsor of the show. If you don't know where to go print anything, hit my man up. He's a legendary DJ, legendary promoter, and he's a legendary graphic artist in the city. Support local. Go hit my man up. Please believe me. And we also have a new sponsor on the show. Let's get to it.
Red Room.
6 million stories in the street. Nigga don't hustle, don't eat.
Nope.
I swam with the sharks and danced with the freaks. Got coke from the Cubans and smoke with the chiefs. Repeat.
New sponsor of the show. If you don't know who Red Rum is in the city of Orlando, the ORL, the Ozone. If you don't know who those people are, Orlando, you better recognize Red Rum is a force in this town. Shout out to Rax. Shout out to Red Eye. Shout out to Heist and Flow. Shout out to that whole movement. We are the people. We are the O. All right? They are new sponsors of the show. Shout outs to them. They got a new project out called Mark of the Beast, and this tells the story of our city. I know it's Friday, man. I just want to say anybody that's out here supporting the movement, the energy, and the vibration of our city, we are the Sound of Orlando show. I am your boy Rome, and we ain't playing out here. We are going to pull this city together, kicking and screaming. We don't care who's not joining because we're not worried about them, okay? We're not focused on them. We're focused on the people that will actually come together. And those are our people in the city. We are the O. Shout out to my man, Strange Flow. Shout out to my man, one of the Sound of Orlando show DJs, my man, DJ Shoe. What's going on, my brother? Man, if you don't know who Red Rum is, hit that website right now, redrumaod.com. Go to their website, support the movement. We are about our city out here, and we ain't taking nothing for joke. This is ours. This is this thing of ours. We love y'all, man, and thank you for supporting the Sound of Orlando show. Next Monday, we're back with legendary group home member Lil Dap. Superstar. Yes. This is what we doing. We talking to our city. We talking to our people. We talking to everybody. Let them know we ain't playing around, man. Sound of Orlando, baby. Let's go!
Live on stage, the sound.
Orlando.
So, if they ready,
Yes.
the sound.
Orlando.